A family command center. Oh, it is so helpful. Let me tell you a little story about how ours came into play. My husband would always come up to me and say, "Oh, I have this going on tomorrow," or "We're going to do this tomorrow." And I was like, "You never told me that." He's like, "Yeah, I did." I'm like, "I don't think so." Can anybody relate to that? Oh my goodness. It would happen time after time. And I was like, all right, we need to figure something out because this is driving me insane, the he said, she said thing. So many years ago, like 8, 9 years ago, I was like, you know what? We're going to put a calendar system in our home where everyone can see it and everyone's schedule is on there. So that way, if you come to me and say, "Oh, I told you about it," if it is not on the calendar, it is like it was never said. Now, this did backfire when we first started it because he would last minute put something on the calendar and then be like, "Oh, I have this thing tomorrow." And I'd look at the calendar and I'm like, "That wasn't on there earlier today." And he's like, "Yeah, it was." So now, several years later, it has been a really long time since there's been the he said, she said, or last minute additions to the calendar. But sometimes when you start a system, it is not perfect. So stick with me. Let's learn how to create a family command center and stick around till the end and I will show you ours. My name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, Quiet Confident Woman. My superpower is being strategic. And my secret sauce is being able to get into your head and organize your head. So let me be your stress-free living strategist. If you love this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to receive some strategic tips every single week in your email inbox, make sure to check out the link in the notes below and subscribe to that email list. All right, my friend, the first thing that you need when you're designing a family command center is, what do you want from it? What are you hoping that everyone can see in real time? Are you just wanting people's schedules? Like, you want to know where your husband is going to be, you want to know where you're going to be, where your kids need to be? Are you wanting to know what's for dinner that day? Are you wanting it to maybe list chores that need to get done? Or maybe if something is needed from the grocery store, it's a place where you can list grocery items that you need to pick up. It's like your grocery list, an ongoing list for you to work from. Maybe there's chores, or maybe not so much chores, but things that need to get updated to the house. Maybe there's a light bulb out in the laundry room and that needs to get done, but every time you have a moment to do it, you forget about it. Maybe that needs to be on the family command center. So think about what you want from this family command center before you even start planning out what it's going to look like. Next, you're going to go ahead and find or create something that is going to contain the things that you just listed that you want in a family command center. The first thing to think about, though, is if you want it digital or if you want it manual. If you want it digital, there's going to be so many different resources that you can have, whether it's maybe something you create yourself digitally, or find a template somewhere, or create something on Canva. There's a ton of different digital things that you can find and be able to create on your own as well. Keep in mind when you're doing this to know everyone that is going to be using this command center. Are they going to be using it from a phone, a laptop, or a tablet? And if there's going to be a variety of ways that it's going to be used, make sure whatever template you're using is going to be able to be utilized effectively and easily across whatever platforms that your entire family is going to be on. Now, if it is going to be something that's manual, think of the place that you are going to post it. For us, we posted it on our refrigerator. It was a place that everybody could see. It was easily accessible. So not only do you want to see it, but if you want people to add to it, so if you're going to maybe keep a listing of things to pick up at the grocery store on there, you want people to be able to reach it. You don't want it to be tucked in a corner that you can see but can't access if people are needing to write on it. So think about where you're going to put it and keep in mind the space you have for it, how big or how small it needs to be. And with that, if you have a small space, make sure what you are going to be putting on there is not going to overwhelm that space to make it look congested. We want it to be streamlined. We want it to be simple. We don't want it to be overwhelming and cause even more confusion because there's so many things written on there that you can't even tell what is what. So with creating this, also, you want to kind of keep in mind that if you are starting from not having anything on a command center, and you're like, Angie, all of those things that you listed were really great. And I'm also going to add like an inspirational quote on it or a Bible verse, or I'm going to put X, Y, and Z on there too. If you're going from nothing to 10 things, that is going to be a lot, and it's going to be very complicated to start with, and it's going to be more challenging to stick with it. So what I recommend when you start any new system is start small, but allow it to be something that can grow. So do you want to create a template that can have all of these different things that I mentioned because you're like, yeah, I want it eventually to be that? You absolutely can. But I would start with the core things that you want on it first, like the non-negotiables. Like this is why we're integrating a family command center. If it's schedules, make sure everyone's schedules are on there. If it is meals, maybe you're tired of answering 20 times every single day what's for dinner and you want it to be on a calendar. Make sure that is on there. Whatever is your top priorities, make sure it makes it to the calendar first, and then everything else you can build into it as you go. All right, now that you have your command center, it is time to put it into action. We don't know how things are going to work out until we actually utilize the system we have created. Is it going to go smoothly from the get-go? Probably not. Are there going to be things that you need to adjust or that happen that you don't even think or even thought of were going to happen? Like your husband secretly sneaking things into the calendar and then saying they were there? Yeah, there's going to be things that pop up that you're like, wait, I never thought of that. So start moving and putting this into action, getting it going, like telling everybody what is going on with this new system and start utilizing it. After you have used it for a little bit, once you feel that things are under control and you're like, no, this is really good, everybody has the hang of it, that could be 2 weeks, that could be 5 months, whatever it is for you. And if you then want to start adding things, then add them. If you put up your schedule and you're like, this is really good, everyone's schedule is on here, we can look, I feel like we can add what's for dinner now, I feel like we can add maybe the grocery list, whatever you want to add and adjust, this is the time to do it. Add little by little until it grows into what you need it to be. And then as soon as you get it to the place that you really like it, life is going to happen again and it's going to need to be adjusted again. Maybe there's more things on your plate. Maybe there's a different dynamic in your home. Maybe kids are now going off to college. So it can change drastically often. So just go with the flow, change it when you need to, make it your own in whatever way you need to. All right, I promised you I would show you our family command center. It is simple, it is basic, it has fallen off the fridge a bajillion times in the last, I don't know, 8-10 years, however long we've been using this system. So it looks a bit rough, but it works so well. it's not time consuming. It is something that if I don't remember to do it, or I'm slacking at the beginning of the month, it's kind of missed. We don't really know what's going on. So it definitely is effective. And for us, it's just 2 dry erase boards. It starts with Sunday and then it goes all the way through Saturday. And the reason that we have 2 dry erase boards is because our refrigerator opens in the middle. And at least 10 years ago, they did not make something that had half the week on one side and half the week on the other side. So I had to create something from nothing, essentially. And this was the simplest thing that I could come up with, is to buy it was all blank, all blank. It was a white slate when I purchased it with this black frame. And I had to create what I wanted from there. So this is actually tape. I don't even remember what kind of tape it is. I remember asking my dad, I told him my vision and I wanted this thin tape so I could create these lines that wouldn't be erased, would stay forever through erasing this calendar over and over again. And I don't know if it's like car detailing tape. He worked at a sign company. So maybe it's like painter kind of tape. I don't even know. But it has worked great. And it has allowed us to use the system over and over again. Now, the other thing is on the back, I believe it did come with magnets. However, our fridge is rounded in the front. So, for things to stick on it, it did not work really well. It kept sliding off, and I was like, what in the world is going to happen? So, this is where when you create a system, you have this idea in your head, you come into all of these obstacles, and you just kind of have to keep going with what life has given you. And so probably up until that point in time, I didn't even realize our fridge was curved. But when you're trying to hang something on it that's large, that doesn't curve, you realize a couple different things. So I had to find like some squishy magnetic something that I could give it a little bit of depth on some of them and not on others. And I just had to play around with it. So do what you need to create a system that works for you. And when you have your system in place, put in the comments, let us know what you're using yours for. Is it just for your schedule? Is it for a grocery list? Is it for something that wasn't even mentioned? This is a great area to learn different things that other people have done so you can integrate them into your own system in a way that works for you. All right. I am super excited for your Central Family Command Center. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.